All right, welcome to your Premiere lesson. First, open up Premiere. There on the left side of your screen on your home page, there'll be a little icon that looks like this. Double click on that, wait for it to open. Once you have that open, hop over to your File Explorer, open that up, and then go to the network drive. I'm doing this at home, so I have my remote version over here, but whenever you do it at the school, you can go to this PC over here and then click on the one that says network drive. You'll go into that, go into our class, Media 365, click on your section, it'll have my name next to it, and then go to, you'll see both of these folders, assignment exercises and assignment inbox. Go to assignment inbox, double click on that, you'll see your name in a folder over here. I made one for myself just so I could show you. You'll go in there, make a new folder that says test so you can play around with stuff for the purposes of this lesson. Make one that says test, go in there, make all of these folders, one that says exports, footage, music, projects, and sound effects. You'll want to create these folders for every single project that you are going to do in this class and outside of this class. So for your future projects, you'll go into your name and create folders titled whatever the project is. So independent edit project, silent film, final project. So once you have all these folders, you'll want to put your footage in the footage folder. And to do that, you'll go back to assignment exercises. Double click on that, you'll see the independent edit project, and there you go. You've got your video, break dailies, and then it doesn't matter which one you want. I'll just go scene 1. I'm just going to grab a few of them, and then you'll just want to copy. Don't just drag them over. Copy and paste, because if you drag them over, they won't stay in there for everybody else. So go back to assignment inbox, your folder that you just made, put it in your folder, your footage folder. Paste that in, wait for them to copy. Okay, now you got your footage copied over. The reason you want to have all of these folders in the same overarching folder is because without it, you need your source materials all in the same place as your projects. If they're not, so by source material I mean footage, music, sound effects, anything else that you put in there. It's usually mostly footage. So any kind of source material that makes up your project, you need to have in the same folder as your projects, or else it won't work. It won't be able to find whenever you open up your project, it won't be able to find your source materials. And I won't either. I won't be able to when I go to grade it. So make sure everything is in the same overarching folder. Our overarching folder is called test. Okay, so go back to Premiere, open up a new project. You can call it test. Make sure you go back to your assignment inbox folder, put it in your projects, select folder. So yeah, and all these settings should be all right. Hit OK. All right, so now that we've got our new project, we need to first create some bins. So go to your little section over here, click on this little button right here, new bin, We're going to name this one footage, music, sound effects. And then we also want one for sequences. We're not going to have any music or sound effects for this one and for your independent edit project, but it's nice to have just in case you want to add them or anytime. So the footage and the sequences are really important for this one. You can, if you have like multiple sections of text that you want to put on the footage, you'll want a text folder. If you want to put a bunch of images in there, you'll have an images folder, stuff like that. So make sure you make bins to separate and organize all your stuff. If you don't, it'll just make it really hard on you, and it'll make it really hard on your professors as well to grade. So make sure you organize. We're gonna put our footage in the footage folder. So if you go in there and you double click in the empty space, you can go grab your footage, select them all, open. All right. So once you have all of your footage in the footage folder, you can go back and see, okay, now there's 5 items in my footage folder. Okay, so I can drag, if you want a piece of footage in your timeline, which is right here, all you have to do is click and drag whatever the first piece of media that you drag in here. It will create a sequence. So right up here, that's what your sequence will be called. Title it what, title it something. It'll be really confusing if you have a 4 over here and a 4 over here. So first, rename that. For all of your projects, you're going to have an assembly cut, a rough cut, and a final cut. So I'm just going to call this one assembly. Okay, and then I made a sequences folder. So I'm going to put this in there. You can tell it's a sequence by this little icon right here. It's different from these. This just means that the video and the audio have been put into the timeline. This is a sequence icon. So click and drag to project and plop that into sequences. And there you go. So we now have our sequence, and it's called assembly up here. All right, so now we have this in the timeline. This is your view window. Bada bing. As you can see, I just played it. You can put the, to watch through it, you can hit this little play button right here. Or you can hit the space bar on your keyboard. And they'll do the same thing. And to stop it, you can just click this again or hit the space bar again. So you can also move your clip around, up and down if you need to put something underneath, to layer it. Any video, if you have your video up here, say, this is your video section, this is your audio section. If you had a video up here, you need to make sure that you toggle that on. Any of them that you have a track in, you need to toggle them on. If you don't have any tracks underneath, like this audio one, you don't need these. So for this project, it's most likely just going to be the video one and audio one, but just to keep in mind. If you don't have those, it might mess up the export whenever you go to export it. Okay, we're going to save. So file, save, or just Control S. Here in the timeline, we have our clip. we're not really going to have any audio files for this one. You're just going to work with the audio that is attached to the clip. So things you can do with your clip in the timeline, you can drag it around, move it around. You can also cut pieces. So say we wanted to get rid of this, the slate here, we would grab our razor tool, or you can just hit C on your keyboard. We play, and there we go, slate's out of the frame, so we can cut that right where our scrubber is right there. We cut it, grab your selection tool again, or you can hit V on the keyboard, select that, delete, move that puppy back to the beginning, and there we go, the slate's gone. So that's the cutting tool. If you see a part in here where you're like, ooh, right there, I don't like that, so you cut there, like, okay, I'm gonna start right there. You can cut that, hit V, selection tool, select that little piece you don't want, delete, and that piece is gone. So, another little tip here, if you have if you've done what I've just done and you selected a big old chunk out of there that you don't want, a little shortcut is you can right click in that little hole right there and hit ripple delete, and it'll just take everything from the right of that and just shove it over until it touches the other clip. It's not something that you have to know, it's just something that is used a lot and it saves you a lot of time. So my clip here is really long. It goes past the view window that I have open here in the timeline. So I'm going to adjust that a little bit, and what you can do is, if you want to see the end of that without having to scroll, all you gotta do is go down here at the very bottom, this little scrolly wheel here, take the little dot on the end and go like this to make it really long, and drag it out to make it shorter, and there you go, I can see the end of it. The other things on the tool menu here that you might want to use, this tool right here, the track select forward tool, if you click on that, this is used for if you see the beginning here and you're like, oh shoot, I need another clip in there before this, but you've got tons of stuff over here. Like, great, I wish I didn't have to select all of that at once and move it over You don't. You can just grab this tool or A on your keyboard, click where you want to start dragging, and just drag it all, and it'll select everything from the right of that tool. So even if you had another clip like up here or all the way over here, doesn't matter. If you click that, everything to the right of it will be pushed over. Okay, another tool you might want to use is the text tool, the type tool. You can hit T on your keyboard, and this is for mostly if you want to add text like captions or anything like that. You can say, hey there, boom, that's there. The other tools you won't really use all that often. You can experiment with them if you want, but those are the tools that you'll use most often. So another thing that you'll use a lot is legacy title, and that's usually used for credits mostly. I use it sometimes for creating shapes or symbols for like if you wanted to have a little speech bubble coming out, that's how you do it without using like Photoshop or anything like that. But I'm going to teach you how to use it for credits. So if you go to File, New, Legacy Title, we're going to title this Credits. All the settings on that should be A-OK. Make sure it's 1920 by 1080. 24 frames a second, 23.9 frames a second. Whatever the same settings are as your project. So yeah, to make credits, you're going to want to go to your type tool right here, click anywhere, directed by starring special thanks, all that fun stuff. Alright, so we've got our credits. In order to make them act like credits and roll up and down the screen, what you have to do is go to this little box right here with the little two arrows going up and down. Click on that, click roll, start off screen, and end off screen. Alright, and you don't need to save anything on here. It'll save automatically once you hit the X. It doesn't feel right, but it is, I promise. So it'll just throw it into your main folder if you didn't have any other folders selected or open. So yeah, we can just drag that over here. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it. There you go. Beautiful. And you can adjust the timing on those by making it longer, so it takes longer for them to get off the screen, or super short and they're just real quick. Oh! Yep. So that's how you use legacy title. You can also make shapes like I said before, but it's mostly used for credits. Okay, so how to use the effects tab. We're gonna go, I'm already on effects. That's just the default that I have it set to on my own Premiere. It'll most likely be in the editing screen. So you'll just want to go over to effects. And then you'll mostly just be using this effects section right here. It'll most likely be stuck in there in the sidebar. So the things that you'll most likely be using are the video effects and video transitions. So let me make this bigger. Transitions. Most common is dissolve. Cross dissolve is really popular. Since it's the same shot, cross dissolve isn't gonna show up very well, so I'm gonna use dip to black. All you gotta do is drag it, and it'll go right in between two clips. Hang on, I'm gonna make it bigger so you can see it. Dip to black, you slap it right there in the middle, and this is what it'll do. Boom, there you go, transition. Alright, okay, those are video transitions. There's all kinds of stuff you can mess around with. Video effects, we can use, I don't know, distort, wave warp is a good one. Stick that on there. All you gotta do is literally just drag it and drop it on top of a clip. Let's see what this did. Oh, that's nice. See, and then over here on the left hand side here in effect controls, you can see where after I drag and drop that, a wave warp section popped up. So here you can kind of go through and mess with all the settings. So I can drag, click and drag, and make the waves taller, stuff like that. You can make the width wider, speed, whoa, all kinds of stuff. So this is where you'll do all that stuff. Also over here in the effect controls, you can mess with the position and scale of things. So if I decided that these credits are too small, I can go over here, click on your little clip, go over here to scale, click and drag. Oh, that's so much better size-wise, but oh no, they're off the screen. What do I do? Well, I'll tell you. You go over to position, over here. The left side is left and right, and the right side is up and down. So go over here, click and drag. Oh, it's getting better. Click and drag. Yes. Awesome. Okay, that looks so much better. Oh, it's really fast, but hey, it works. Alright, I'm going to save. Control S. Be sure to save often. Premiere will crash on you. I promise it will. Alright, so for color correction, what we're going to do is create a new adjustment layer. So let's right click in an empty space here. New item. Adjustment layer. All that should be fine. We're going to drag this up on top of everything, except the credits and the text. I'm going to put the adjustment layer underneath. We create the adjustment layer because, for two reasons mainly. Because one, you can make color correction adjustments across an entire shot or entire scene, like this one. If you're going between shots and they're dramatically different or different looking, or if you're going between scenes, you'll want to create you want to create different adjustment layers for them. But if you're working across the same shot or the same scene and it looks similar, just like this, you can create one adjustment layer and it'll be consistent across all of your shots. And two, the second reason is so you don't put it directly on your clip and then have to go back and fix it directly on the clip. If you want to go back, you can literally just delete that adjustment layer. So yeah, for the adjustment layer, to color correct, all you gotta do is click on it, go over here to Lumetri Color. You go in the color tab here at the top, and then Lumetri Color. Basic correction is where you're mostly gonna focus on. White balance selector is really useful, especially if you forget to white balance. So if we click on the little dropper here and we click on something that was supposed to be white, let's just say the sky was supposed to be white, we click on that, and then it color corrects for everything else in the shot. So whatever it did to make that blue in the sky white, it did for the whole shot. So I think that looks pretty nice. But I'd like to make some other adjustments. So down here in exposure, you can kind of drag that up a little bit. If it's a little dark, you want to make it a little lighter. That's pretty bright. For the exposure, you don't really, like, you're working in points. 0.1, like 0.4 is actually pretty high. You're mostly going to be in 0.1, 0.2 area. But we've also got contrast. We can lower that contrast a little bit. Highlights. Shadows. Ooh, too much shadow. So you really just go in here and mess around with it. Saturation, we can up that a little bit. They're kind of dull right now. Ooh, that's a little bit too much. See, that looks nice. So, and that's over the entire adjustment layer now because it was selected. And yeah, so it stays the same from each shot. I'm gonna save that sucker. Control S. So now that we've got that, I'll just show you guys how to rearrange your screen a little bit if you want to. If your timeline is a little bit small for you, you can go here on the top where the blue line is and hover there, and it'll show two black lines with two black arrows going out in opposite directions. You can just click and drag and it'll make your timeline bigger. If you're like, boy, I can't see these bins, you can do the same thing on the sides. There you go. You probably won't have to mess with that too much, but it's nice to know. For this one, you won't have to deal with outside audio. You're just going to work with the in-camera audio. But it's absolutely going to be too quiet or too loud. So in order to mess with the audio levels, all you got to do is click on your clip, go up here to Audio Clip Mixer, So a general rule of thumb for audio is if it's too quiet, try going up 6 decibels because that's like a small change. If that's still too quiet, go up to 10. If that's still too quiet, keep going up, adjust until it's right. But 6 and 10 are like a small change and then a medium change, and then that's just where you should start. And same if it's too loud, if you want to go down. So let's see where this audio level is. So you'll see your audio levels over here whenever I play it. Ooh, see, that's real quiet. We want it to be about -12 here. Yeah. So what we're going to do is go over here, let's play it again. Let's go up to 6, see how that is. Ooh, it's still pretty quiet. Let's go up 10. That's still quiet. Ooh, see? We're getting there. Let's wait till they talk. They're still a little quiet. They're very quiet. So, we're pretty much all the way up at the top. That's about fine right there. They're hitting 12 at their max, and that's good. So, if you go all the way to the top here and you're like, I still need more, what you gotta do is right click on the clip, go over here to audio gain, and then same thing with this. So it'll take into account everything you've done over here already. Adjust gain by, again, start with 6, then 10, and then go up from there. So I'm going to do 6 and see how that works. See, that's too loud, so I'm going to go back in here and say -6. Yeah, see, that's good. All right. Okay, another little thing that you can mess with. You absolutely don't have to if you don't want to, but it's a fun little thing. I use it all the time. So if you go to right click on the clip, go to speed and duration, you can adjust the speed here of the clip. You can go, if you want to make it faster, you can go 150% and play it. Oh my gosh, that's really fast, and her voice is weird. To fix her voice, all you gotta do is right click, speed and duration, and then click check this maintain audio pitch. You can do the same thing and reverse the speed if you want to, which will literally just play the clip backwards with the speed higher, or you can slow it down with going below 100%, so like 70%, and then it'll make your clip really long. And then you can do the same thing with their voice with the maintain audio pitch. So if we're happy with how we have it now, we can go ahead and the thing you should do is select all of it, give the audience a 1 or 2 second space to breathe before your clip starts. So there's about 2 seconds. Then we just gotta drag it over here. Beginning and end. So we'll stop about there. So to export your clip, all you gotta do is drag all the way to the left to the beginning of your timeline. Click mark in here. Go over to the end, leave a little bit of space. Click mark out. We're going to save it again. Go over here to File, Export, Media. Alright, and then we're going to, it'll most likely say AVI. So what you'll want to change it to is H.264 here. You can leave it as match source. That's fine. If you want to be extra safe, you can click down here on YouTube 1080p to change the name of your export and to tell it where to save. Click on that, go to your drive, assignment inbox, your name, your folder, and then make sure it goes to exports. I'm just going to leave it as assembly. Make sure your video and audio are being exported. Make sure it says 1920 by 1080, 23.976 frames per second. Export.